This is Five and Friends. Five friends, five perspectives, all five. Hello and welcome to this week's episode, everyone. My name is Zane. Don't ask why, just put it. And with me this week is Summer and Thomas.
Hello! It is the second attempt to this episode. Yes. For some reason, not for some reason, Summer and I both went through this because UConn has terrible Wi-Fi. We lose a member every time that we try and record. And this member, then when we lose him, he leaves for good. So
he's like an enigma. It's just like it's either now or never, type thing. It's like either we do it and it works perfectly, or
he's a ghost.
It's just like, all right, he's a ghost. He just doesn't exist. Never exists then.
Anyway, other than that, Maz actually couldn't make it today because he's working.
Well, Maz has an excuse.
But it's all good. So I guess we'll just.
I mean,
what?
I was gonna say, I guess we can just kind of just quickly go through what we already talked about. We just gotta just quickly run down the talking points that we already have, discussed.
I wanted to explain to you guys that I did the Instagram challenge. I did a landscape photo in the morning at 10 a.m. And yes, I got more likes, so Maz is right. Timing really does matter.
Yes. 2, when it came to the last week's episode, when it came to the whole Apple versus Android debate, it seems like that that debate is still happening as we speak. I don't think it's ever going to die amongst like the general population. But when it comes to the group that we have, it seems like it's going to still go on. It's still ongoing because Johnny Discotheque, if everyone knows from Nerdvana NYC podcast, he's still he's very adamant about the fact that iPhone is a lot better than Android. Which, granted, sure, it could be the truth. But I'm gonna stick with Android.
I'm gonna be for Apple.
I'm not even. I don't even want to say that I'm adamant for not Apple. I'm just adamant for being the only other person that doesn't have an iPhone.
So
I just want to.
You're just so hipster, Zan. It comes out. You're New York. You're Brooklyn, Queens. I don't know. You're not Brooklyn anymore, but Queens South. You're just like, you want to not be in the fray with everyone. You want to be outside the fray. And
can I just say something really quick? When I think we got offline last time, I don't know if this was actually in the podcast or not, but Zan had said that he was rooting for the underdog, which was Google. And I had to go online to tell him, per money, CNN money, or money.cnn.com, Google has surpassed Apple being in terms of how much money they make. So, being
as a company or as a mobile company?
No, we all know company. Because Apple's not just phones, though. It's not just phones. Apple's also not just phones.
No, I know, but Google is a giant, conglomerate at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, but that being said, Google is not an underdog by any means.
No, and I can't even say that Android's an underdog. You can't even say that Android's any less than Apple or iOS in any way because, if you take out America, like everyone else in the world basically is Android, because it's a cheap.
Your thing was that you were rooting for the underdog, so
you wrong.
I mean, no, but it's like I'm still technically right because it's like because in your eyes, and a lot of people's eyes around the world, they still think that Apple is the be all end all of when it comes to phones. When Apple announces something, then suddenly it's the new cool thing, even though we've had it way beforehand, So it's like, in that sense, we are still technically the underdogs, and we're still trying to prove to the Apple users out there that Android phones are also just as good. So, like with the Pixel, my phone, like that's I think the first phone that I've ever seen when it came out on Android, where it was like, yeah, this could easily be an iPhone competitor. Every other phone, no matter how many times a company would be like, oh, this is an iPhone killer, it was never an iPhone killer. But I think Pixel has definitely is up there when it comes to like, yeah, when the next Pixel comes out, I'm sure the Apple will be.
I just think you have an internal bias. Maybe it's warranted, maybe it's not, but there's a bias there, and you're gonna just stick with your bias, your hipster bias, and it's like futile to try and argue with someone about it if they're just like, well, I don't care, I don't want it. And you're like, okay, well, right, got it.
Like I said in the last podcast, it's like if anyone wants to donate their phone to me, I'll happily switch over for a month or so, test it out, and give you my review for it. But no one has an extra iPhone laying around. So.
I might later.
Ma said he might when he switches to the 8.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then I'll definitely check it out and then give you a review.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Are you speaking of Zan, it sounds like you're drinking something on the rocks.
Yeah. So what's happening with this on the rocks challenge, Amna?
Look, it didn't happen, and
what's
I'm
going
gonna try
on
to do it tonight after I get off the podcast, and I'm gonna get a drink and put ice in it, and I'm gonna then Instagram it and write hashtag on the rocks challenge. Oh, that took a lot of energy.
Oh my god. It sounded like it took a lot of energy too. Like you were speaking and I was starting to get like out of breath. I was like, oh man. Oh, I'm running a marathon just listening to her. But I'm
like lying down, so when I talk I have to lift my head up. It takes energy to lift my head up.
Get up, Sumra, at that point. But
Oh. Wow.
No, I went out to a restaurant today and I got a drink, and I got lemonade. So I was like, I could ask for on the rocks right now, but then I was like, I'm with one other person, and if I just took my phone out and started recording myself, it'd just be so awkward to be like, look, can you look in the camera? Can I get an on the rocks lemonade? Lemonade on the rocks. But
rocks, please.
Rocks. Can I just have rocks in a glass? But I
still think that it's not as big of a weird thing to say. I think it's pretty common when it comes to any.
We're gonna do it, Zan. If I see you anytime soon, we'll go and I'll record it. And that being said, like I'll try and get people roped in to start ordering things on the rocks and see what reactions are.
Yeah, do it because I think it's as common as saying with ice.
I think you're wrong.
I think that's really wrong. It's
no
really
one.
Not.
I think it's as common for saying with ice for alcoholic drinks.
No.
Yeah, like
I don't think people go, hey, can I have a strawberry daiquiri with ice? That doesn't sound right. You would say. You would say on the rocks, like James Bond used to.
First of all, you don't get a strawberry daiquiri on anything because it's a frozen drink. So if you're getting that on the rocks, it's already blended in. The rocks are blended in. So that's a bad example. Good, Summer.
I think that if James Bond has made it such a mainstream thing to say, I'm pretty sure
nobody says it.
Why? I'm okay. All right. We'll figure this out. We'll go out there. We'll go outside and see who says on the rocks or not.
Well, I'll start posting it up more. I had a busy week. I guess we all have busy weeks, and it's not an excuse anymore, Amina, and I get it, and I'll fix myself.
Yeah, you need to.
It's a very introspective moment I've just had right now that I can't use busyness as an excuse. All right.
Yeah, it's just life. It's just life, Life comes in the way, you can't really.
Yeah, but I gotta start posting up about things on the rocks. Guys, also, I thought it was cute. I'm drinking chai right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you know?
My chai while I spill the desi deets on you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, what else, guys?
We saw it.
Oh, yes, we did.
How was that? How
Very
was it
good.
compared to the original?
Definitely scarier. Well, I don't want to say scarier, but they showed more. That is true. They did show more.
More graphic.
Yeah, it's definitely more graphic. And when if you see it, you'll know what we mean. And then Amna and I both agreed that the kids in this movie
Way
did
better
a better
actors.
job acting than the original. But that doesn't mean that the original cast was not good at acting.
Yeah.
So would you say it's an improvement all around from the
Yes.
original?
Yes.
People say original always the best, but would you say it's even better than the original?
Yeah. I hate saying it's better than the original.
No, because
but
no. So Tim Curry is like iconic it, right? Like, not that you can't do better than Tim Curry. Well, no. It just, how do I explain this in a way that makes sense? It's like he made it an iconic role. You know what I'm trying to say? And so that being said, Bill Skarsgård he did a fantastic job, and he was very good, but he was very different. He was a different type of it. Like Tim Curry's more snarky. It's a little bit more snarky, and Bill Skarsgård is more disturbing. Like, you watch Bill Skarsgård, and he is like, how many times can I say Skarsgård? Skarsgård. Anyway, it just tongue twisting me, but he is drooling and dead-eyed. Yes, that's it. He plays it more demonic, and Tim Curry plays it snarky, and it's different performances, and it's both excellent. That being said, I feel like Summer said, the kids edge it out in a way because their acting is so good. But 80s or 90s, I don't know, 80s acting is supposed to be cheesy too, so it's like you love it. I don't know. It's a tough one.
Interesting.
I
do. I'm watching it soon though. I just don't know when. I hope it still stays in theaters in this next week.
Oh, I think so because it's the #1 movie in America right now. So
I love how much money it's made. I think isn't it the highest grossing horror film in the month of September or something like that, or just in general?
I think somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in general it's the highest grossing rated R horror flick.
Rated R horror film.
Yeah,
I'm looking it up right now. And they say, it's passing The Exorcist to become the highest grossing R-rated, which part of me is I like that because I loved it and I love the book so much. But the other part of me is Exorcist is literally my favorite horror movie of all time.
Yeah, but Exorcist oh my god, I'm
it's iconic.
Here's the deal. I'm traumatized by Exorcist. I'm not traumatized by it.
But some people were traumatized by it. I know so many people who were traumatized by it. Well, not me. I've heard of many people who were traumatized by it. That being said, Exorcist is way more traumatizing. But it's also different because it was a made-for-television movie. Whereas Exorcist...
Was it really?
Yeah, it wasn't rated R. The original It. It was made for TV. It was a two-parter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
That's why it's so long. Because it was a two-part movie. With it's the flashbacks of the kids, and then it's the adults coming back and fighting.
Well, no, I know the movie, but I didn't realize it was actually made for television and not.
That's why it's not as scary. Yeah, that's why you just can't compare it like that. But you can compare the new It, and the new It's not as scary as The Exorcist. The Exorcist is for people who haven't seen it. Okay, so for people who haven't seen it, I suggest you watch The Exorcist by yourself at night or with one other person. Don't watch it in a group. Don't watch it like that because it's not scary then. It's because it's, it's a 70s film, so it's a different vibe. and it's not like these new horror films which have the booze, you know, like it unsettles you to your core, but you gotta let it. You know what I'm trying to say?
You gotta accept it is, and you gotta like
For
put you like what's that word, like fully immerse yourself into the movie, right?
yes, but for those who are very scared, I suggest never watching it.
Is it more
Good advice.
I'm
Good
just
advice. If you get scared easily, don't watch it.
if you are really get scared of those type of movies, don't watch it, because as I said just 5 minutes ago, that movie traumatized me. Until this day, I cannot watch. I watched Exorcist. I was like, I think the first time I watched it, and I don't know how my parents allowed this to happen, but I was like 8 or 9. And I remember watching it like with my mom, and like everybody was together, and I was like, okay, so I was like 8 or 9, and then I was like, all right, well, you're a kid and you watch this and you're traumatized. But guys, that wasn't the last time I watched Exorcist. The last time I watched it, I was like 13 or 14, and it still shook me. So since that point, I never watched it ever again. I can't even see the girl's face. I can't.
Summer
hear
really
that
can't
girl
watch it.
talk. Like, I cannot watch the Exorcist. It's like I have literally, I've gone up like to our TV area, like at our house, and like Amna and my brother, and people are watching this movie, and I run downstairs. I cannot watch that movie.
Yeah,
like there's nothing that will allow you, like you'll never there's nothing that will make you want to watch that movie ever again.
I am so scared of it. I am so scared of that movie. I cannot watch it. And maybe for kids who watch it, well, kids, not kids, but, you know, around our age, or, you know, whatever, who watch it today, to them it might not be as scary, just like Amna said, the effects.
Well, her makeup is timeless. I definitely think her face is timelessly scary.
Yes, I mean, like, but they might not be scared because the makeup might look so stupid to people now.
No, I really don't think so. I that's where I disagree. I think people don't get scared because it's not egregiously scary. The last 15 minutes is what's really scary of that movie. People are used to things being scary right away. But a lot of the movie is set up.
Said, though, the movie is set up, and you have to really get into it. And as Zan used the word, immerse, and you just really have to get. But it's not even just the fact that the last 15 minutes are really what makes the movie. It's not, the entire movie is very creepy.
It's unsettling. It's disturbing. And like I read this thing that said it feels like what would happen. It feels like what would happen if someone got possessed.
Maybe
by,
not the last.
Not the pea soup. Well, maybe throwing up. I don't think it would look like pea soup, but no, Summer. Like, if someone was possessed by the devil, it just feels like the progression of her possession. Like,
no, I'm agreeing with you. Like, I think you are right. Overall, the progression of it and how it works. Now, when you hear about real life stories, most people's makeup, the makeup doesn't, that's what I'm saying. There is some part of it that they actually, you know, for Hollywood purposes, made it, you know, drama. But yes, you're right. Overall, well, it's also based off of a true story. And
right.
So it just is one of the, for me, the scariest movie ever. I've seen other, and it's not that I've never seen, you know, it's just the possession concept. I've seen other possession concept movies.
No,
they're scary, and I don't like to watch them, I guess, and maybe Exorcist has to do with that, but if they're on TV and others are, I guess I'll watch it, and I'm not like, you know, oh my god, but I cannot be in a room. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear...
Traumatized.
I don't want to hear the movie. I don't want to hear her. I don't want to hear any part of it.
And then to contrast that, I've literally watched that movie by myself at like 2 a.m. Because
Yeah.
people think I'm weird, but I like being scared. I like feeling like, not scared, like, it doesn't give me real fear. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like I don't know how to explain it. It really is hard to explain.
Like the state of mind type thing. Like you want to be in that weird, like spooky state of mind, or
Yeah, it's like kind of cathartic to watch something scary, and because it's fun and
That's
your
weird.
adrenaline goes, and then and then it's done, and then the movie's done. It's like a ride. It's like a roller coaster, right? You go
yeah.
for like the thrill, and then you're done, and then it's over. And the thing is, for people, a lot of the times, scary movies, it's not over. They get nightmares, and I completely get it. Like for me, it's like that's with sad movies. Like I can't watch something really, really depressing because it will stay with me for days and days, and I'll just be depressed.
Yeah.
And so that's why I hate, like, I don't know, the Titanic. People will hate me for that, but like I don't want to watch people die. Like it's not in that way. Maybe in a horror film it's different, but I guess it's hypocritical. But I don't know.
No, I mean, everybody has their thing, right? You don't like sad movies. I really don't like very scary movies like that. Yeah. So everybody has their thing of what
Then,
they
do you have a
can and
thing?
cannot watch.
I mean, like, so, okay, so yesterday we all hung out, like, Amna and Summer both came over to my mom's house, and we all, we were all hanging out, and one of the things that I like doing is actually, like, I like scary stuff, but I like real scary stuff. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
like, I get scared with Exorcist. Like, I like getting scared with Exorcist and, all these scary movies. But I get more scared when it's actually a real life thing that actually happened, So,
Yeah.
so what I'm going, where I'm trying to lead this into is that yesterday, Amna and I, we are one of the biggest fans of, like, BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries.
The supernatural and the bus crime and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Unsolved.
Exactly. And we were watching an episode yesterday. We won't go through the entire episode. If you guys want to watch it, it's called the Room 1046 BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries. And that episode, it's just the way that like the events played out and just how creepy the guy was in that story. It really just like unsettled me when I originally watched it. I watched it before Amna did. So I watched it by myself at like 2 a.m. And I was just like, oh my, this is so weird. Why did I watch this? But I'm like, okay, but I like this though. So that's my thing. I like reading scary.
You were unsettled.
I was unsettled. I was like, oof.
Yeah, I watched it, and
For you, it's like that roller coaster ride, right? It gives you that whatever feeling, and then and then you're over it.
But it's also but it's not even that. Like, it's also that knowing that like some of these crimes that they talk about in this series is like it's still like these guys are still alive, like knowing that these people are still alive walking amongst us and they've committed these horrible acts of crime. That unsettles me, knowing that these guys are just, they either went to jail and they got released out of jail and they're just like happy-go-lucky now, and it's just like, ugh, you've done such a weird thing.
I'm surprised they'd be released.
Yeah.
It's kind of like messed up. Like, people can be caught with like pot and they'll go to 30 years to jail, and then someone could literally murder someone and rape them and they get 5 years. So, justice system for you.
Yeah.
But that being said, no, I watched this thing and I felt the same way. It was so creepy. Like, the manner of which, the reason why it's creepy is because if I had to go through what these people who walked in on this person being murdered or overheard these things, I'd be so scared.
Yeah.
Like, if I walked into a room, I'm working at a hotel, and I walk in, and someone's, like, on their elbows and knees with their head in their hands, bleeding to death, looking at me, I'd be like, this is it. I need to go to therapy now. Like,
yeah. We'll probably link it. We'll link it or we'll tweet it or something, that video. Like, it's a really good episode, and it's easily one of my favorite episodes that they've done. It's just the Room 1046, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, they have a huge following, so it's not like it's like not like this underdog kind of channel, but it's just so funny. Their interactions is it's really entertaining. So I'll post it up.
And if anyone who listened to our scary stories episode, like whatever episode that was, 4 or 5, you can see where we got our inspiration from. Like we basically copied them in a way. Like we tried not to do it, but we did in a way. So
for that, but that was that. You know, it's a definitely a creep-tastic episode, and it was a creep-tastic movie.
Yeah,
all coming full circle.
Full circle.
I wanted to talk about. So you guys didn't want to talk about the Emmys at all with me, but guess what? A South Asian man was the first South Asian man won an Emmy, acting Emmy.
Yeah.
You're talking
first
about
Desi.
Riz Ahmed
for the night of playing a Pakistani student who gets wrongfully convicted or arrested for a murder he did not commit.
Have you guys seen Night of?
No, because Sabina said our sister said that it gave her so much anxiety, and I don't know if I could do that right now.
Yeah, and if I can't even handle Game of Thrones anxiety, I'm not gonna be able to handle that.
It's also like this is worse because this happens and has happened to people.
Yeah.
So I can't watch anything too anxious.
I mean
that being said,
I've heard that
you saw it then.
I've not seen it. I have not seen it, but I was going to say that I've heard nothing but amazing stuff about that, and I still stuff things so.
I mean, same, but I don't know.
No, but I mean, there it is though. Like he's the first South Asian, first Asian, not even South Asian, but Asian man to win an acting Emmy, and on top of it, he's Desi.
There was never an Asian person that ever won the Emmys?
No. There was, I said last episode, Archie Punjabi from The Good Wife.
Yeah.
She was the first ever Asian to win. She's also, I think, like some half Desi or Desi, I don't remember. But he's the first Asian man to win.
Oh.
She was the first Asian woman and person. And then he's now the first Asian man to win. So that's insane to me.
That is pretty cool.
I'm not even talking about Desi. I'm talking about the continent of Asia.
Yeah, like,
how's that possible?
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised. Like, there was never like, I don't know. I'm gonna sound so
Vietnamese or Korean or anything.
No one. That's surprising. That's very surprising. You would think that
I know
out there that was like, that has an Asian lead or any sort of Asian lead that would have, won.
I can't think of any show with. I can think of Fresh Off the Boat, and that is the only show I can think of that has an Asian man as a lead. Other than The Master of None.
Master of None, yeah, which is awesome.
And they won for writing.
Which does very, very well deserved. If you
didn't think he'd win.
I didn't think he would win because it was good competition, because it's like the show was really well written, but I just thought like it was gonna go fly under the radar. But I'm glad that it didn't go under the radar, and like they got exactly what they deserved. Like the first season wasn't. I mean, I'm not gonna say the first season wasn't great. Like the first season was pretty good, but the second season really made it for me, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. This is good.
They won for a particular episode. I don't know what episode because I've never seen it. But
her episode about Lena Waithe, about she's the black actress in the show.
Remember that? Yeah,
and
she's like, she's a
Thanksgiving.
It's co-written.
Yeah,
they both won it.
Yeah, they both won it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's it was a lot of firsts, which is kind of like. It's like cool, but it's also like really like at this point we're still going through firsts.
See, so one of my things is like I don't know whether or not like it's a good thing you mentioned that there's a lot of firsts. Is it because that like, oh crap, we never nominated an Asian person to win this Emmys? Should we just do it now? And do you feel like that's what a lot of not companies, but a lot of like award shows are doing these days, where just like we gotta just be the first of this.
Diverse because it's
Yeah, like we just gotta make history right now. And it seems like for the past couple of years now, it seems like every award show, every sort of like record has been being broken just because they're just like, yeah, we need to make history now. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It seems like
Well,
it's all happening now, like when you would have thought it would
it's
happen
because
in a spread out time, but
I agree, but it's also because like 2 or 3 years ago now, the Oscars came big time under scrutiny
yeah, you're
for
right.
being racist.
that's
Because uh, they there were like no
People of color.
people of color nominated, no minority group nominated for anything. For like, I think there was. I mean, Chris Rock was the host. I don't even know if it was anything. I don't even want to say if it was for anything, but like the big, definitely not the top.
There was no
Um,
black actors nominated, and that was
and
the
they,
same year.
yeah, and they did amazing movies that year.
Yeah,
So
it
it was
was
like,
Idris Elba did like Beasts of No Nation or something, and people were like, I remember Michael Caine was interviewed, and he was like, I don't understand what the big deal is. He's like, Idris Elba was nominated, and they were like, no, he wasn't, and he was like, what? And he was
yeah,
like shocked that he's like, he tried to be like the Oscars aren't racist, and then he was like, wait, they are. Like, how could
yeah.
Idris Elba have not been nominated for such an
It was
amazing?
nuts. People were not nominated at all, and so it just was huge. And now, like, they're, I think, consciously making an effort to do so.
But I also think like, and I've been seeing a lot of like people, like actors and especially actresses, like women, comment on this, saying that film is kind of like it's a barren landscape for good real roles and writing, because what do big movie production companies want? They want money.
yeah.
So they don't care about the story as much as they do about getting the money in. And so, there's not well written characters for women. There aren't well written characters for minorities. It's a lot of superhero movies, a lot of reboots, a lot of big blockbusters. And then, television is now becoming the place where people are finding these amazing stories being told. With
Yeah.
where people like us can be seen. I can look and see the night of. Oh, I hope that's never my life, But you see people like us reflected because they're given the opportunity to write on television. There's so many platforms.
And I love how Netflix and Hulu and any sort of like big, online platform like that, where they're taking the stand and giving people a chance and really giving them the free reign to make any sort of story that they want. Like, would you have ever seen a show like Master of None 10 years ago?
No.
Because it's not a show that would be an NBC show. It wouldn't be an ABC show because it's not that. It is what it is. It's like its own little niche thing, and it's awesome that it's on Netflix and they have the chance to kind of just shine and just do their thing.
I mean, it's true. But that being said, it's like, could there obviously be... I heard someone say that's like, what we need to strive for is not, wow, look at how many diverse television shows are coming out, but not even noticing, letting it be the norm. Like, of course there's a show about... Because they're a person. It's not like a black person show or a Desi person show. It's just a TV show that's good.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't, and that's like the goal, and we're not there yet. I don't think so. I mean, think about how many TV shows are, have like a all black cast at this point. Can you think of? I think of like the Carmichael
What
show.
about Blackish? Blackish
and,
is
and
yeah.
Blackish. Those are the two shows. But that's two.
Fresh off the boat, maybe.
But that's one show of Asians. I haven't seen any other show with Asians.
Yeah, you're right.
That's one. And then, like, people, like, there's, like, Jane the Virgin, and she's Hispanic, and it's, like, that's one lead, Hispanic female lead. And I guess America Ferrera in that, like, Superstore. But that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything either. Yeah, you're right.
I see, like, I know, like, there are side characters, but there aren't, like, shows about them.
Yeah, I mean, I think one day we'll eventually get to that point, and it's definitely going to be a process for that to happen, you know. And you can already see it with like shows like Quantico, which is kind of cool, where it's like it's an ABC show, right? I don't know. And it's kind
Right.
of cool where
Yeah.
their cast is pretty diverse. I don't know how diverse it is because I have no idea about that show. All I know is that Priyanka Chopra's in it. So
Um,
like that's the all I care.
it is actually pretty diverse because they're showing. Well, is it diverse?
I think what's cool about it is that her being brown doesn't
No,
matter.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
She could have been played by any race and it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
And I think that's cool. Like, and I think Mindy Kaling does a good job. Like, that role in the Mindy Project could have been played by anyone.
You know, Priyanka Chopra's coming out with. She's producing a show for ABC. I think it's supposed to be like a comedy type show about, and it's based off of like Madhuri Dixit's life. In the sense of this Bollywood star who gets married to someone in America, and you know has to all of a sudden like
Being, like, not recognized.
right, and it's a very different life, and you know, so and how that this star adjusts to life in a whole another country where, you know, in one country they're like mega famous, and over here they're not as, you know,
They're not even really known in
Yeah.
most communities.
I mean, her own husband. I think the story with Madhuri is her own husband didn't even know she was this mega actress. So
No, I don't think he did. And then, like, she was like, by the way, like, I'm an actress in India. And then they go and he went and she's, like, idolized in India.
right,
She's like the
I
legendary
mean, they moved
iconic.
back to India because obviously she has a career there, and but they didn't move back for a good 10 years or something like that. So
She had a family and stuff, but no, that's like that's a show that's coming out. And that being said, that show is not like you have to be brown because
Yes.
it's about that. You know, it's not like, you know, anyone could play it. It's
no,
like
but like the fact that they're even coming out with a show like that, that's nice to have. I know they've done other, you know, shows in the sense of like where it's all about brown or, you know, but
you know,
still,
I
good.
think that's cool too. It's a definitely
Remember that
like,
one show? Remember that
cool
one
to
show that
see
came
that.
out on NBC called like Outsourced or whatever?
Yeah,
Based on
yeah,
that
yeah.
Just
movie,
one-
yeah.
Yeah, I got canceled, but that show was pretty good too. I liked it.
Or like, what was it? It was a Community or something like that.
Community with Donald Glover.
I'm forgetting. I don't know if that was like a show where it was like showed like different types of people.
No, Community had a pretty diverse cast too. I mean, the thing about Community though is the lead was still like Joel McHale, right? It was a white dude. So like,
Talking down
you
his
know,
role, I mean,
I
he was
think-
awesome in his role, but like, he just happens to be white. You know, it still was pretty predominantly white. You know.
right? And I just think like, I'm just thinking of TV shows where the leads are white and they don't have to be white.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
I
of
feel
TV
like
shows.
isn't it the case where it's like the best written characters are the ones that could be easily played with anyone? You know, like it doesn't matter who.
or even like a man or a woman
Yeah,
interchangeably.
like the
you
best
know what I
written
mean?
characters are always the ones that can be played by anyone. But I don't know.
like I'm thinking like Bones. I don't know why that's popped in my head, but like what makes like why does Bones have to be a white woman? She could have been a black woman who's just really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just, you know, it's just, but I think it's getting better. I think that's like what I'm trying to say though. You're right,
A
Zan,
lot
and
better.
I'm
A
wrong.
lot better.
But I
Definitely-
think, like I said, I think with the award shows and having first of I think the Oscars just from a few years back is kind of
Caused
set
Well,
the
film is
tone.
not any better.
film.
I really don't
beast,
think
I think
so.
film is. I think is going to take a lot longer than than TV than television. Because I think with movies it's a different story. Because movies you have to not only appeal to the most broadest audience possible, but you also have to make the most money as possible. Because like what you said, Amna, it's not about the story. It's about who can make the most money. You know. So it's like.
Right, and so
There's a reason why they're doing all these reboots. They're not making these reboots because, hey, look how awesome the story was back in the day. No, they were like, no, we can cash. It's a cash cow. We can make money off of it. Let's do it again. You know.
Right. Well, think about, like, that's why it was such a shock to people when Hidden Figures did so well.
I loved it.
Because I love that movie, but it was a shock because it's about 3 black women and about math in space. And so, like, everyone was like, it's not the projected numbers was like, it won't do that well. It'll be, like, Oscar nominated, but it won't do as well in the film box office. And it was number one movie. I just don't think they give enough faith in the audience, too, that we will show up.
Did you guys hear about how NASA opened up a brand new facility and they named it after one of those ladies from the Hidden Figures movies? Yeah,
Katherine Johnson. They should have done that a long time ago.
I'm assuming they did it only because of how popular the movie became, and
No, they did it before the
No,
movie,
I thought recently.
Oh no, they did name something before the movie. They did say that at the end.
Oh, you're right.
The movie.
At the end of the movie, there was something about that, but they named some other thing. They named some like massive facility also. They named something else.
And that happened like maybe a week ago or whatever, where they just named it.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Think about all the other women though who are also insanely smart, who worked on these space projects.
Yeah, they should have wings too.
I know, like it's like not that. I mean, 100% like Katherine Johnson, like phenomenal. There's no question, but there's so many women whose stories weren't
the other
heard.
2 girls.
Well, I mean them as well too, but like they're, I guess because Katherine Johnson and the other 2 women were like they headed it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the first man overseer of this project, and the first black woman or woman to overseer this, and first engineer. So.
Yeah, I mean those were I'm forgetting. I feel really bad, but I'm forgetting the other 2 women's their characters' names.
Well, their actual names because they're real people, but I'm forgetting their names too, and I should probably look it up. But
Octavia Spencer did one of them, and
Janelle Monáe did the other.
Yeah,
Octavia Spencer was nominated for that, right? She didn't win. Viola Davis won.
Yeah, for Best Supporting, I believe.
Viola Davis won for that Fences.
Yeah, Fences.
And Denzel didn't win. I remember I was so pissed that Denzel didn't win the Oscar.
Denzel was up against who again? He was up against wasn't he up against like Leo or something that year?
I think Leo. I don't know who won. I don't remember, but Denzel didn't win, and it made me so sad.
I think if I remember, he was up against Leo, and if he was up against Leo, then you know what? I don't feel as bad because Denzel already has an Oscar, and I don't know what the hell it had to take for Leo to finally win one.
But then, like, going back, I agree completely, but also it's like Leo is still a white guy who can probably get another couple of great roles, and I feel like Denzel Washington is like, I think he felt like this was his last main role as like the lead.
No, I don't think so. I don't think this is what he feels like is his last main role.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what comes of his career. I mean, I don't think so too because it's Denzel Washington, but
it's Denzel. He'll get something. But Denzel also already has, I think, 2 Academy Awards.
I think he only has 1.
Still,
I mean, he has an Academy Award.
No, he has 2.
You know who I find it's so funny has an Academy Award, but it's now like, well, I guess he gained respect again, but was Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we all forgot that Cuba Gooding has
For what movie?
an Oscar. Jerry Maguire. And then he, like, did, like, Snow Dogs.
Which I think I've seen that movie.
I think we all have. But he came back recently, you're right, with what role did he come?
American Crime.
OJ.
The OJ, yeah.
Yeah.
And he got, like, a Golden Globe nom. I don't know if he won. Or an Emmy nom, something like that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Never mind. Denzel wasn't up against... Oh, you know what? Denzel was
Casey Affleck won.
Yes. Then
Casey Affleck.
Yeah, he shouldn't have won. He should never be recognized for anything.
Do you know?
No, why?
Zan, you know why, right? Casey Affleck, so allegedly, but it's like basically true, like sexually assaulted. No, I don't know if assaulted, but harassed women
Casey
of these
Affleck.
girls. And yeah, Ben Affleck's brother, Casey Affleck, and like they settled out of court, right? I think. And basically, anyone who is like a sexual assault victim and survivor are like, why is this man being recognized and being like acclaimed? And so there was like this huge, like, not huge, but it was shown like, 'cause Brie Larson, she won the Academy Award,
2015.
right? And so in the Oscars, what you do is the person who won the year before for actress, speaks like gives out the award for best actor at the next Oscars, right? So Brie Larson, she is like a big sexual assault spokesperson. She likes, she's very vocal in that community, and her movie that she won the Oscar for was literally about that. So she didn't clap or anything when he won, and she looked so disgusted. You could see it. She's like, Casey Affleck, and it was like this huge thing because it's like, why is he winning an award? But I mean, so many people in Hollywood are gross, and no one talks about it.
Let's see. I was just going to say, so I'm just reading the article here, or I'm reading Wikipedia. It says Donald Glover became the first African-American to win an outstanding directing for a comedy series. Riz Ahmed was the first Asian to win the category, as well as the first South Asian male. Ahmed and Dave Chappelle also became the first Muslims to win acting awards, with Ahmed being the first Muslim to win a lead acting award and Chappelle being the first to win it for a guest role. Aziz Ansari and Lena Waithe winning Outstanding Writing, Waithe becoming the first African-American female to win that award. And then Julia Louis-Dreyfus won her 6th consecutive Emmy, which is like a record. So, good for Julia. Good for Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I absolutely love her.
I love her.
I think it was last episode where I was telling how I've been on a Seinfeld kick. So she's clearly the star of that show. I love her in that show, and I love her Veep. I love Veep, and I'm sad that the next season is going to be the last season for Veep. And yeah. No, it's
Probably good.
She won 6 years in a row for best outstanding comedy series, and then she also won maybe 6 in a row for like best female actress or lead actress or whatever. So. Like that, yeah.
I don't know the exact, but
basically the point is, like, for the last 6 years, she's constantly been winning for Veep. So, yeah. I do agree that the last season should be the last season because this past season, even though it's gotten a lot of awards for best directing and Julie Louis-Dreyfus and whatever, it was like you can tell that they've ran out of ideas. There's not much more you can talk about anymore. Like it's been done. So it's good that they're ending on a high note and not like with other shows where they just keep dragging it on.
I can't believe we're still talking about the Emmys.
Wow, Samra. Wow.
Excuse me, but I had a question about it that I can't believe we're still. I didn't mean to yawn. It just came out. But why wasn't Game of Thrones in it at all?
Because too late for this Emmy season.
Past the cutoff date.
Came out too late.
Oh, why about the year before, like last year?
Yeah,
because that was in the last Emmys.
Well, how's it always in the
2018 Emmys is going to be with season 7. Yeah,
that's so stupid.
Yeah, well, think about like Oscars and like movies that you think should have been nominated, but then they're not nominated at all, and that's just because they didn't make the cutoff. I want to bring up one thing. I know this is going to be kind of off topic, but it's kind of also not off topic. It's kind of related. Because we have already been talking about Emmys for 2 weeks now. One of the things I actually came across this right now, just like a few hours ago, and I think this was just announced just a couple hours ago from our favorite Donald Trump. And even though I hate politics and I don't like talking politics on, public forums,
it is kind of interesting to see what he just announced, that there's a, the whole travel ban. It's actually, he actually proposed a new travel ban, and it's going to be implemented next week. And it's supposed to be one of, like, it's going to be the actual travel ban moving forward. There's not going to be any, backlash. There's, like, he's, because he had the original travel ban a few months ago, and then he retracted it. This is going to be the one that's going to be set in stone, and supposedly it's going to be Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Chad, and North Korea will be indefinite, and Venezuela, I guess. Yeah,
And
yeah, and
Venezuela.
Venezuela, being indefinitely banned from traveling to America. And the only way you can come is either
Yeah,
A, you're a student visa. From what I've read in this article, when I skimmed through, like, either a student visa, but even then, you're going to be forced to go through a lot of security, a lot of security, and that's the only way you can come in. Other than that, have fun coming. You're not going to come in, which is sucks.
yeah, but isn't the justice like that's what
Yeah,
happened with the last travel ban? Is that then the justice system kicked in and was like, no, we're not doing that, and it wasn't Trump who rescinded it or retracted. It was the
yeah.
justice system that was like, we're not following it. The Supreme Court.
I
So
don't know.
can't they do that
Say
again
anything about
technically?
them
I don't
retracting this,
know.
and there doesn't seem like there's any. I mean, this just happened like a few hours ago, so we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But as of right now, it looks like it's just going to happen. It's going to happen on October 18th, and
Well, his last travel ban before this happened, it was really scaled back, but it was passed. And the reason why he signed this new travel ban is
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
that one
yeah, it
expired
got expired. So
today
he just re-signed it, and now it's going to be the one.
Oh,
Yeah.
and added more countries. The next travel ban will be like the
Yeah.
whole world cannot enter
A
the
quote
United
from Trump
States.
himself: "As president, I must act to protect the security and interests of the United States and its people." Which, I mean, I guess, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but in the same time, I don't understand why are we doing.
No, I don't understand where he's coming
Yeah, well,
from.
I don't understand the
He's
whole
just
travel
talking out
bans.
of his
That doesn't make.
ass.
That's not going to stop anything. Like, that's my thing. That's
No, well, statistically, it's just like he doesn't have anything backing him up on anything. And then, you know, it's just
I
a
mean, I
media.
get it to the extent of obviously, I don't think it's right to put a complete ban on. I do understand the whole vetting and stuff. Like, you want to make it safe, it's not safe. You want to vet people.
But we
Okay.
already have a strict vetting process. That's why I don't agree with you. Because America has one of the strongest vetting processes in the world already. It's very hard to come in the United States. And it's not like we're
Well, from
constantly
what we've been
getting.
experiencing, it's clearly not that hard to get
I mean, but that being said, Sam, like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but also it is hard because there are people who cannot get in. And I'm
Mind
talking
you,
about
I'm
people who
talking
are
about
trying to
legally
get in.
getting in. I'm not talking about anybody illegally coming in.
No,
I'm not
yeah,
saying that, but
but like you're banning people from Syria, those people like need to come into a country that will take them as refuge. Like it's
no,
just
like I
wrong.
understand that it's wrong. I am not saying it's not wrong. I'm just saying in terms of if they think that this is like a whole vetting system, then not necessarily. Like I said, I'm not saying that the ban is right. I'm just saying that it's this whole vetting process. So if it takes, you know, even more for, I mean, the problem is then you hear all these stories that all of a sudden it's like it just goes into his point, and to the world out there, stop making a point.
I think but like to go to you, we can't use our own like bitterness against certain people that we know because they're not like
It's
they're
not. It's
not.
not about that at all. It's not. It's like there are things that go on every day, good and not just because the travel
mhm.
ban at first was all about the Muslim ban, right? That all the countries were all Muslim, and like Muslims in the news that pops up are like doing things every couple of months that they shouldn't be doing. Stop doing it.
Right, but it's not. It's like you're right in the sense that that's happening, but there's a whole reason behind why everything is happening. I sound like I'm not trying to be apologetic at all to,
there is a whole reason behind it. Yes, you're right. There's a whole reason behind it.
Very complicated.
And
but majority of Muslims are not. I mean, like
of course not.
So when you're banning people who, it's like it's the argument. Like you have one bad apple. Are you gonna throw away the bunch? Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense, and it's people who like old people who need medical help.
Well, the saying is not that so much, Amna. It's the saying is one bad apple ruins it for all, and that these bad apples keep ruining it for all.
Yeah, but it's your job to not let that happen because it's also not apples. These are people, and if they need to come into the country. I get what you meant. I was wrong with my metaphor. I understand that. But I'm also saying that I know you're saying it's not justified, but I'm saying I don't think I really don't think the way this is happening is correct at all. And I don't think excuses for more vetting for people, I don't think those excuses, like, people are people. I don't know, and it feels wrong to deny people because they adhere to a certain religion.
No, you're right. You're right. Now in this new one, it's not even a religion thing anymore. But you're right.
No, it's just whoever he has a grudge against plus Muslims.
Right, and
it's like North Korea and right. Muslims.
You're absolutely right. It shouldn't be about the religion or anything like that. But unfortunately, in those countries, because of the whole background story that you're talking about, there are people who could get in.
But if you look statistically, Sam, like
I know.
They're like people who are like, oh, we don't want refugees in this country. There has been absolutely no terrorist attacks from refugees ever. In the United States. I don't know if there's been. I can't say for sure if there's been in other countries, but
well, the recent thing in London was from a refugee.
The subway attack.
Yeah.
Or the subway attack or the car.
The tube. So the subway.
That was from a refugee.
Yeah.
God damn it! It's also really tough to be a Muslim and watching the news. And then shit happens, and then they're Muslim, and you're like,
of course, it's like that episode of Blackish.
Right, where it's like they're
like watching TV on the news, and somebody it was like a shooting or something. And they're like, please don't let it be black, please don't let it be black, please don't let. And it wasn't, and they were like, yes,
And it's like we're not saying yes, like when we're not relieved that it's terrible what happened, but it's like. It's just like, of course, because now
it gives more
rhetoric
reason to, and again, the media is only going to show a bias, right? So it gives more reason for the people who aren't as educated in the facts, and they go by the media, only the media, that it gives them more reason to have these type of bans then.
Right,
it's more reason now for them. Am I saying it's right? No. I'm just trying to play kind of like a devil's advocate. Here.
Right, it's,
I'm trying to just argue the other side. That's all.
No, you're right. You're right because that's what they're thinking. You're completely right. It's just
now, especially in London, it gives more fire to the whole, you need to vet the refugees. Am I saying every single refugee is like this? Of course not. But then you have on the media, they're not showing what's happening in what's that place? Oh my god, how am I forgetting this?
Myanmar?
Yes. they're not really going into the killings there, but that's.
Oh yeah, the media is not talking about the damn genocide that's happening.
Exactly.
And how Muslims are being beheaded and children are being raped and killed. No one's talking about that.
Set on fire, and nobody's talking
by
about
Buddhist monks.
I remember seeing a meme. Like I saw a meme earlier today about like this is kind of like not talking about this specifically. We're talking about like switching over to like the whole like not Donald Trump, LeBron James calling Donald Trump a bum, and how like the whole kneeling thing. I remember reading. I just saw this meme saying that like we're focused on people kneeling during the national anthem, but we're not talking about the people in Puerto Rico who's also a U.S. territory having 100% no power. We're not talking about that, but we're more focused on about he didn't kneel or he was kneeling. It's like, come on, like
I completely agree. Or even this Kylie Jenner.
Who cares? There's much more bigger issues than that.
Who cares? Literally, there was an earthquake in Mexico, and 200
people died. 200 plus at least now, I think.
250 people were killed in this earthquake,
that's what I'm saying. The media is only showing one, and it proves the point to why all these policies come forward.
Oh yeah, because you get distracted. It's also like everything that's happening is distracting you from like Congress and what bills they're signing and what's really happening right now, because we're all paying attention to like ridiculous stuff.
Right. Like, does anybody know that like Betsy DeVos like kicked back on
the campus rape?
Yeah. Like you're like, wait, what?
Like, she just made it way easier
for people to get away with it.
Yeah, and for rapists to stay on campus. It's literally disgusting. And yet we're more concerned about Kylie Jenner being preg than, I don't know, helping hurricane victims or helping, earthquake victims, or talking about problems that are happening right now in the world. And that being said, do we sound maybe like, do I think that we can also nod and support, the sports players and be like, yeah, you know what, like, I agree for your right to not stand for, the national anthem.
Because they're standing for a point that is serious in the country, right? Like,
right.
The inequality. But, again...
The president's reactions are ridiculous. That's not what you should be concerned about. Be concerned about a U.S. territory not having power.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, you're right. I agree. And again, I just play devil's advocate to play devil's advocate.
We're all just a bunch of dotards.
Exactly.
No, what I really love is that the word bum, I tweeted this from Bob and Friends. It's such a wholesome insult. You're such a bum.
Such a dad response too from LeBron James. It's like, you a bum. You just stupid.
You're a bum.
It's like,
but it was killer. It was kick ass too, because it's just like LeBron James.
I think it's like what, like I think the top 10 most retweeted or liked tweet ever now, because of that.
Those like stupid insults we used to give as kids.
That is 100%. That's what it is.
You bum.
Face,
You're a lint liquor. What is that commercial? You lint liquor?
Yeah, exactly. Or like from that movie, Sandlot, you pee drinking crap face.
No, it's true. It's scary. We don't really go this serious on our podcast.
We don't. Thanks a lot, Zan.
It's not in the end of the day, it's not even politics related. It's just ethical. Like, it's just like, you're banning, we're talking about banning countries and everything. It's not even, that has nothing to do with politics. That's just, you're ruining people's lives. You're causing more chaos for people in countries that need help, so.
Well, if you really want me to go there, get up the ladder. Ooh.
Oh, all right, Peter Baelish. Get out of here. The worst
and on that note, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Fob and Friends.
Send us your on the rock stuff.
That. What else?
Follow our Facebook page.
Facebook page, facebook.com/FobandFriends. And yeah, it should be fun. It should be cool.
Yeah, and next week we're starting our Halloween series about scary stories and talking about scary stories.
So yeah, we're gonna do a Halloween month, basically.
Wait, no, it's not next week. Is the first Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, then yeah. So the first, October begins and scary stories begin.
Yes. And yeah, we can talk about our preparations for Halloween and what are we doing. Scary stuff.
I know. Scary
Ooh,
spoopies.
I'm scared.
Well, then,
Alrighty.
on that note, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.